Hi there, this is Dani, and the channel is You and Me Living Free. And today I'm going to talk about how I found my first Nomad job so that I can stay on the road in this next year. So if you've been watching me, you know I quit my job and have been living on savings and odds and ends here and there for the past, my year is almost up. This is officially like the middle of March, and my year is up on April 4th. That's my official date. So I have been traveling and using that money for this year, but it can't continue on. So I needed to do something different to try to be able to stay on the road. I didn't even know at the beginning of this journey, I didn't even know if I would want to stay on the road, but I want more than anything to be able to stay on the road and to figure out how it's going to happen. So today I'm going to try to focus on what about this process is helpful for other people. I was at the RTR back in January 2022 this year and got many ideas for work camping, remote work, ideas for how to stay on the road and work while you were doing it. And I was actually a little overwhelmed. I had so many ideas and so many possibilities, but then again, it wasn't really specific opportunities that I could kind of identify. So I went through this whole process, and I'm going to share just a little bit about that with you and go through 3 different kind of broad stroke options for the kind of work that's out there and where I found the best resources for each of those. So let's dig in. So the first thing is the work camp. And this is, when I think of this normally, I do think of Amazon, but the first thing I think of with work camp is working at a national park or a state park or something like that. The best resource I found where you can get all kinds of possibilities in one place is called workcampernews.com. workcampernews.com. They charge you like $47 or $48 for a membership, but if you're really diligent, you can get in for the 7-day free trial and you can get the information that you need and then not have to pay if you have already found what you're looking for. So this is a resource center with all kinds of different jobs. I looked at the possibility of working at Yellowstone or at Grand Canyon National Park. Those are 2 of my all-time favorite places in the world, and I would love to think about working at one of those places. But this is just a pooling. Everybody puts in their jobs that they're looking for people, and you can go to one place and find many different big organizations looking for workers. So as a one-stop shop, this one place to go to kind of focus your efforts was a great place for me, and it gave me an idea of what was out there, and it also made me optimistic about my chances for finding something. Ultimately, I did not take one of these jobs though, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. So then the next opportunity that I was kind of looking at was remote work. So I've been a life coach. I've been a social media manager before. So I have certain skills that might translate. I might be able to work remotely for different companies. Also like customer service stuff, things on the phone. A lot of that work has gone remote. But it seemed like a very big world to me, right? Like there are so many possibilities, endless possibilities, in fact. But the problem with having endless possibilities is you have to narrow it down. And I was having trouble doing that. And then I had a friend of mine named Mary, who is a subscriber, but who also lives in Kansas City. We've met in person. Hi, Mary, if you're watching. And Mary told me about this. There's this group, and you've probably heard of Escapees. It starts with an X, Xcapees. It's a big group of RV and camping people who get together and have convergences, they call them. They have these big events, and everything. So the escapees is a lot of kind of retired people and stuff in that. They even have a singles group, I think. And so you can find different interests. But they have one group that's called Escapers, Escapers. Okay, now this is a subgroup, and these are people of working age. They might be young families, they might be individuals like me, they might be couples, but they are of working age. And what Mary told me is that these people, many of these people do remote work jobs, and they are open to specifically talking to you about, this is the job that I do, we are looking for people, that kind of thing, that kind of networking thing. So I really thought about joining their group and then going to a convergence and having those discussions and everything like that. They do not have a free trial that I could see on the website. So I didn't do that. I also thought I will explore it as I move forward into this next year or so of being a nomad and living primarily in my van and going to do this work. And so that's another possibility, but I did not pursue it further than that. I'm keeping it on the burner and keeping it as a possibility. And then the next kind of opportunity was actually something that I talked about in my other video. So I have another video that walks through when I was at the RTR and when I went to the big tent and got those job opportunities, and kind of specifically walks you through a bunch of different options. And I'll put a link to that video in the description just in case you're interested in more specifics. So one of the companies that I was looking at there that I got information on is called Southern Cross. And with that opportunity, it's $15 an hour, but you are looking for gas leaks. So you have an assignment for a certain amount of time. You're in a place, you travel around the country, maybe if you want, or you can just do maybe one gig at a time, whatever it is. I don't know the length of time or anything that they have, but you're walking around with something that looks like a metal detector, only it must be a gas leak detector. So you're walking over gas lines, wherever that would be, and you are walking 5 or 6 miles a day, and you are doing that kind of work. So that kind of excited me too, because one of my big goals is in the next year or even 2 years is to do the rim to rim hike. And so I'm going to be concentrating on upping my daily steps significantly. And I thought this would be a nice road to kind of get me on a nice step down that road, right? So I'm all thinking of that. So these are all great opportunities. Now let me tell you the job I ended up accepting. I do have employment. I have a 3-month obligation because that's the minimum that they will do. There's a 1-week training, and it is for express personnel for DigiKey. DigiKey, you probably heard about it. Bob on Cheap RV Living has videos about it, and he has done interviews, has talked about it for a long time. DigiKey is $18 to $20 an hour. It is, near as I can tell, it is a warehouse job kind of experience where you'll be sorting parts, you'll be assembling orders, you'll be packaging and sending out orders for electronic components. So it's comparable to Amazon, except you from what I have heard, and I've talked to 3 people now in depth who've worked there and with the recruiters and stuff, but I trust the word more of the 3 people who work there than the recruiter, but still. So, recruiters might tell you things that might kind of gloss over, but at the same time, they want people who are a good fit. So anyway, but I've gotten quite a bit of information. It's a lot like Amazon in that you're in a warehouse setting, you're doing long hours, you are assembling things. It's kind of the same type of work, but it's not near as stringent. So they aren't as micromanaged. They aren't pushed quite as hard. It's not like you have a quota or you don't have time to go to the bathroom if you need it or those kinds of things. Also, what I've heard from one person too is just the quality of people, just nicer people. And that means a lot to me. And so, so more money, less micromanaging, smaller facility. So this warehouse, even though it is really big, is a lot smaller than an Amazon warehouse. So these are all things that are really, really exciting for me. Also, the pay is $18 or $20 an hour, depending on which shift you work. If you're first shift, second shift, third shift. I'm going to be working second shift. I was put up 3. There's no way I would work third shift. I'm sorry. I'm too much of I need my sunlight. I need to be up and vibrant during the day. I would have preferred like the early morning shift, but this is fine too because I'll be out of work by like 10 or 10:30 p.m., which is not a big deal. It's not like I'm going to be up till 2 in the morning or something or have to be. So here's why I chose DigiKey. Lots easier and stuff than Amazon. Also, they're giving me a hotel room. So I could have opted for a free campsite, but I'm going to be starting this gig in April, and way up north in Minnesota, it's still going to be kind of cold up there overnight. And so they're offering the option of hotel room for free. So it's not a discounted rate. It's not so many dollars a week. It's free. So I have a free hotel room for 3 months up in northern Minnesota, and I am super excited. Another reason I took this job is because if you've watched some of my other videos, you know that for this year, as I had budgeted out from savings and done all of that, I was over budget. And I continue to be more and more over budget, even though I'm not even traveling at the moment. I'm at my friend Vicky's house. I'm dog sitting her dog Cooper, and I'm still over budget because now I have doctor and I have dentist and I have other things going on. So this year's budget has been blown. Now, so when I originally was going into this, I thought $15 an hour, like at Yellowstone or Grand Canyon National Park, could do it. I could keep affording my home base in Kansas City, which is really, is really cheap, pretty cheap. And I could still be on the road at about $15 an hour, that kind of job. But since I'm all over budget and everything, and I've spent more than I want, and I have some money on cards and things, I have decided that it would be better for me to be at a place where I can do overtime if I want to. And DigiKey, actually, they do time and a half for overtime, but I think their Saturdays are double time. And the recruiter over the phone from Express Personnel did not guarantee me any overtime or anything. She said, once you get there, they'll see how the schedule is. They'll see how many people are there. They'll talk to you about all of that at the time. So the minimum commitment is 3 months. So I'll be there mid-April to mid-July for sure. And there's no problem with me leaving for a few days because my daughter is graduating from college in May, so I'm going to be taking off a few days to come back down to Kansas City for her party and for her ceremony and everything, her commencement. And so that was no problem with them. They said they did say I'll either have to pay for the hotel room for those few days, or I will have to move my stuff out and then move my stuff back in when I get back. So I'll figure that out as I go. That doesn't seem like a big deal to me. So goodness gracious, I am so excited. And I really have had a lot of people tell me, if you want to work and stay on the road, there's a lot of opportunities. But until I really started to break it down and really started to look at the specifics, I didn't have the security of knowing I would be able to do it. So hopefully these specifics help you, and also kind of my thinking through the process and why I may or may not have chosen one opportunity over another. Also with the Southern Cross thing, with the walking, another subscriber of mine heard about them from the first video I did and reached out to them, and she is going to be starting with them. So I'll be anxious to see how that goes. But what she told me as well is they pay for mileage, and they pay a per diem or a weekly fee to help you with lodging and meals and stuff, which might have been, it adds up. I'm just saying, it adds up. So I would be probably looking more into that opportunity, because at the time I was thinking, well, $15 an hour. So a flat $15 an hour is like a minimum I would need to survive and keep my home base in Kansas City. But more than $15 an hour is what I need to pay off that debt, to get myself in a really good position, and to build back that emergency fund up, because there's always something that's going to happen. It's like owning a house, right? You need to have that fund where your car breaks down, you have dental, you have health and doctor stuff, you have things that come up, and you're going to need that cushion. That's one of the things about being a nomad that I find is really kind of coming home to me, is the importance of that emergency fund, that importance of being able to make room for those unexpected expenses and things that come up. Because when you're in your everyday life, sure, there are going to be things that come up and you need that emergency fund, but it's a little more, tiny more predictable than being kind of on the road and having it. So not, now that I think of it, maybe not really, but maybe it's just because I've been living this last year on savings, and I have been more on a budget in this last year than I have been before. So maybe that's actually what it is that's making me say that, if that makes sense. So did my homework, did my research, found the best opportunity for me. I'll be at DigiKey. Then I'll be there for 3 months, but I'll be off weekends and stuff. It's a Monday through Friday or a Sunday through Thursday, because I'm working second shift. So I'll work Sunday afternoon till Thursday night, and then I'll be off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. So I'll have lots of opportunities to do little weekend trips from up north. I'll be close to the Canadian border. I'll be having all kinds of adventures. I'm not too far from Voyager National Park, or I might see some aurora borealis. I won't. Voyager is supposed to be one of those places that's easy to see that. Can you hear Coop? He's taking a drink of water. Anyway, about time to bring this video to a close then, right? And then next year I'll be looking at Southern Cross for maybe a couple of months. And I might, if I love this opportunity, I might be looking at coming back here next summer. I would love to be at Yellowstone or Grand Canyon National Park. Those both pay $15 an hour for a variety of different positions. And I would love to be in a position where I only need that minimum to get by. My savings is built back up, and I'm moving forward from a place of being on a strong foundation and have all my ducks in a row. So ideally that's what's going to happen, so that I can keep traveling, stay on the road, provide for home base and for me. I am so excited. Let me know if you have questions or anything. Let me know, comments, if you have worked at any of these places, what your experiences have been. I'm still really in this place of gathering tons of information, but the information can get overwhelming. And here's the thing too, it's like vague information doesn't have much power. It really, the power is in the specifics. It's like with the remote work. I wanted to talk to people who are doing it now, talk to people who have openings at their company now, or in the next few months or whatever. That is more specific, more like, oh, you could do this, isn't helpful. Oh, you could do this isn't helpful. It's, oh, I've done this, and here is exactly what you could do, and this is the place, and that is helpful. So if you have any information like that you want to share with everybody else in the comments, that's awesome. Anyway, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be continuing this journey. And thank you for being here. If you made it to the end, you deserve a medal, and I'm sending you a ton of love. And thank you to all my patrons on Patreon. I love you, love you, love you. And I think that's it for this time. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.